ALC appearances, that's what the Astros are doing. There's never a doubt, especially even after Lance Berkman. That's how excited I am. I'm going old school, and we're going to talk about everything that happened in this game, including Jose Altuve getting hit, and then Jake Myers getting hurt, and it seems like Chicago just really enjoyed that for some reason. We'll talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Go Astros! Woo!
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.